This clean result was done using the same dual forms most of you already have. These may not be the newest dual forms on the market, but I'm sure they're the first ones most of you ever bought. They're still the easiest ones to find on Amazon, and they're a lot more affordable too. But if you try to apply them from the cuticle area like newer forms, that won't work. They weren't designed with that kind of structure or built-in apex. That doesn't mean you can't get a clean, professional result with them. It just means you need to use them differently, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. With this method, the first step is really simple. Just lightly scratch the surface of the nail with a file and gently open up the sidewalls with a manicure bit. No need to do a full manicure yet. When choosing your size, place the form on the nail with a small gap from the cuticle. Since we're using Polygel, I usually go one size up so it fully covers the sidewalls and growth points. Make sure you're really careful with your prep. Here this part's a little different. I'm applying the dehydrator like usual, all over the nail, even right up to the cuticle. But for the primer, I'm keeping it a bit farther away from the cuticle than I normally would. Don't rush your base coat. I like to use a gel brush and really work it in with small, massaging motions, just making sure the amount is right. Not too much and not too little. I place the form on the nail and just mark out the length I'm going for. For this method, I like using clear polygel. It just works best. When you're placing the polygel inside the form, make sure to pay attention to the details I'm about to show you. Start placing the product right at the cuticle area of the form. When you're working the product, make sure you're using a firm brush made for polygel. Use just a small amount of solution cleanser or alcohol so the product doesn't get overly wet. If there's any excess, wipe it off because too much can cause lifting. Don't press the brush at all, just lightly glide it over the surface. Shape the product based on the look you're going for. Square stays clean and straight. And for almond, just round the free edge a little. After your first pass, go back and check everything. Using very light pressure and about a 45-degree angle, place your brush near the cuticle almost like you're pressing it so the product there becomes very thin. Then gently pull the product toward the free edge, keeping most of the volume in the stress zone. Check your sidewalls and make sure they're fully covered with the thickness around 0.5 to 1 millimeter. The free edge should stay in that same range, about 0.5 to 1 millimeter. And make sure there are no air bubbles at all. Now I place the form right over the base and give it about a 5-second cure on the natural nail. Before the full cure, don't forget to pinch it. Gives you a cleaner, tighter shape. I personally only do this with You can use a clip or a pinching tool, or one works. Just remember, how you use them matters. So I'm showing you both. After curing for 60 seconds, go in with a cleanser and wipe off the tacky layer completely. Before I start filing, I just mark out the areas that need work with a marker. Now take a hand file and start working on that line where the natural nail meets the polygel until it blends in seamlessly. Then I move on to the rest, starting in the center and working out to the sides, slowly reducing the bulk as I go. Then I shape it into an almond, same way I've shown you before. For an almond shape, just refine the corners of the free edge to bring it in. Leave the sidewalls alone. You don't want to damage the growth points, or you'll end up with cracking or breakage. The shape looks right. We can move on to the manicure. First, I use an orange wood stick to gently push the cuticle off the nail plate. Now I'm going in with a manicure bit to open up the cuticle. And if you haven't watched my e-file manicure videos yet, make sure to check out the playlist. I'm only putting primer on the natural nail, just the areas without polygel. No need to go over the whole nail. But the base coat goes over the whole nail. I cure it. For this set, I went with this glitter gel. I apply a thin layer to the middle, then use an ombre brush to blend it out. I cure it. I'm using these, but this part's totally up to you, Jess. Go with whatever you like or have. I'm just putting another layer of base here so I can place my design on top. The tighter you pack these flakes, the better they'll look. I cure it. For this glitter ombre, I'm using a white builder gel. I start with a really thin layer, just enough so the design underneath still shows through. Now I go in and place the main bead right near the cuticle. Then I carefully spread it from sidewall to sidewall, making sure it doesn't touch the skin. Then I flip the hand over and use a detail brush to guide the gel so the apex sits slightly closer to the cuticle. Then I go in with my brush and blend out that line, just slightly reducing the product there. I cure it. I use clear builder gel to cover the glitter area. I cure it. I just go over this area with a hand file only enough to make it smooth and even. The underside's already clean, so I don't do much there. I just thin out the free edge to make it look more refined. Then for the final step, I apply the top coat. And this is the result you can get, even with these forms.